the president of the Arizona Cardinals, Michael Bidwill, joins us right now in the Auction Community Studios. Michael, good morning. How's life? How you doing? Thanks for getting up and joining us.
Good morning. It's things are going great. You know, we were just talking about it off the air about how last weekend was the last weekend without football. So even though we didn't see any games, we've been very busy around the training facilities and excited about what we've got going on in 2018 so far.
You talk about the extension of Steve Keim. Speaking of exciting, Steve Keim has done a great job for you guys, obviously. Talk a little bit about that extension and why you extended him now.
Well, I think Steve's one of the better GMs in the National Football League. He's done a terrific job. When you look at his wins and losses, he's among the top. And, this is about creating stability in the organization and making sure that we take care of the folks that have really deserve an extension, and Steve really did. We sat down last week and hammered out the details over dinner, and so it was a great dinner, and then we announced it yesterday.
If memory serves correct, he was already under contract for 2018. You, in a sense, held his rights for 2019 with a team option, if I have that right. So there was no hurry to get it done. What does this statement say to the league? What are you saying to the NFL? What are you saying to other agents when you say, I didn't have to do it and I did it anyway?
Well, I think, you want to reward success. And again, back to that word stability, you want stability in our leadership around our organization. And that's something that I've really put a focus on. This isn't the first time I've come to him early and given him an extension. And so, again, I think he's one of the best in the National Football League, and, wanted to make sure we rewarded him. But also, we had a long conversation about what we need to do. This, not just this offseason, but it's about winning Super Bowls. It's about bringing those trophies back to Phoenix. And, we can do it. We've been close before, and now we've got to build the right kind of team, through free agency, through the draft, and have that sustained success.
Yeah, I've said this for over a decade. I think any owner, the most important hire he's ever going to make is a general manager, because the general manager is so involved in a lot of the moves, including bringing in the talent on a team. I think it's just critical. Having said all of that, how much satisfaction does it bring you to know that Steve Keim was raised in the organization?
Well, I think it's great. It's a lot of satisfaction that we can home grow, our own success and our own leadership. And we've got a lot of great leaders around our organization that are, continuing to grow up in the National Football League. And so, that Steve is really leading the way here. It's exciting. And you're absolutely right. It's not just the veteran talent. It's the new talent, the college talent that's coming in, and then managing all the contracts with a salary cap that doesn't give us a lot of flexibility sometimes, and making sure that we've got the right kind of structure in place and the right coaches in place to make sure that we can have success.
We're talking to Michael Bidwill, team president, Arizona Cardinals, our first guest today on the Tuesday edition of Newsmakers Week. And you've come in for years for Newsmakers Week, but I never remember a cameraman following you everywhere for this. Is there any chance that you're going to try to make Wolf a star of Facebook?
We're going to try to.
I don't think it'll go well.
Don't go with a face, Michael.
We'll just go with book.
Let's go with a book.
Just the book. Forget
watch.
the Facebook. So, we've got the cameras following us around. We've got this new program that's going to be on Facebook Watch called Flight Plan, and we've teased it. We're launching it tomorrow, the first of many episodes. It's the first time we've done it, and we're having a little bit of a behind-the-scenes sort of, we know the fans want to understand what we're doing and want more access, and so we're trying to give it to them and be transparent. So we're going to take them through the off-season. So I can tell you that episode 1 is done, but we're still, episode 2, this might be part of it. And things that we're going to be doing here in free agency and the draft will all be part of this as we move forward.
You said the word transparent. Just how transparent? Because I admit, All or Nothing had me in the first 2.5 minutes when you became the only organization I ever remember admitting that's the guy we wanted to draft, and it didn't go our way. And nobody admits that, to bring you that close into the war room. What types of things are fans going to be revealed or transparent about that normally we wouldn't get to see?
Well, as you saw in the promo that we launched a week or so ago, we're sitting down with the cameras went out to Mobile, Alabama to the Senior Bowl, sat down with our scouts, talked to our scouts, individually about what they were looking for in players. So I think the transparency is very high. Hopefully we get every player we want to get in the draft this year. But those things happen, and that's part of the drama of the draft is, you don't get to decide exactly who you get. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're taken before it's your turn to select, and sometimes you have to move up. You don't know exactly who's going to be taken, and so it's an exciting thing for us to be able to show what we're doing. We're proud of some of the decisions we're making, of the decisions we're making. We're proud of the people in the organization that are making these decisions, and we want to show it off a little bit.
Michael, what's next? You've improved the facilities to the tune of millions of dollars. You've improved University of Phoenix Stadium to the tune of millions of dollars. You've expanded the scouting department. You've added to the front office. What is next for the organization?
Well, great question, Wolf. When you look at the stadium, we're actually entering our 13th season of University of Phoenix Stadium. So there's, this is not a baby stadium, even though it feels fresh. And part of the reason why it feels fresh is every year we're doing something to improve it. New video boards, new sound system, new upgrades around the facility. Well, this year, last year we did we started a 2-year, 2-phase construction and renovation project on the club level. So this year we are finishing that second phase. That was an $18 million project. In addition, we think we've solved the parking issue with the city of Glendale and really appreciate their leadership, especially from their city manager, Kevin Phelps, who really, he and the city council and mayor did a great job of securing land south of the stadium. So south of Bethany Home Road, we have got 4,000 new spaces going in. And so there are going to be some parking that moved, the off-site parking that we had where people would have to shuttle bus in. That's all going away. We'll now be able to park down there. And then we're going to have a pedestrian underpass, sort of like on Camelback Road, just east of 24th Street. There's sort of a little hump in the road, and it's a little bit of an underpass there. So folks, fans will be able to go directly to the stadium property without having to wait. They'll go under the underpass, and
that'll improve car traffic. Because for anybody that parks in the orange lot, I know that there's quite a few times you'll pull in and then you have to stop because as people are crossing over, and that's in a sense, is that for this season? That should go away this year?
That's for 2018 and beyond. Fantastic. So it's a permanent change, and we believe exactly, Doug, that we're gonna be able to reduce traffic pre and post game and reduce those wait times. But also, it's going to be super convenient for the fans, and it's going to open up some new areas for fans to tailgate and things, which will be great for them. And I'm excited that we're going to be able to open that up because it's been a long standing issue that we've had, and now it's solved. I think it'll really help not just us, but all the other events there.
How about the facility, Michael? Right where you want it? I mean, you've got everything done. I know you went through a major refurbishing, right? So you feel pretty good about the facility and where it is.
Yeah, the physical parts of the facility. I mean, every year, the sports science is a big issue for us, and every year there's some new technology that's coming out. So there's going to be new stuff that we buy this off season. Can't tell you exactly what it is. People are researching what it is. But, as we get closer to the season, I know that there's going to be new equipment that we buy put in it. But more importantly, I think it's also it's the people inside that facility that are new. Obviously, Coach Wilkes and his staff. There's a different vibe in there now, and it's I think it's one that in one of the things that is going to happen is he is putting up some of his own words on the walls and things like that are inspirational to players and really reinforce the themes that he's talked about at his press conference and with us individually. When you look at it, I think Coach Wilkes has come in, and I think this is the beginning of his third week, and he has hit the ground running. He is organized. He is efficient. He talks about accountability. Holy cow. I mean, he has just been banging away the decisions, put together a great staff. That staff all fits his personality, and it's been all business. Detailed, outcome-oriented, and there's been, like a super efficient, that it's been all business, and I really like it.
Obviously, everybody wants to know who's the Cardinals quarterback going to be, and yet I don't know, Michael, if they know necessarily all the rules about a search for quarterback. Everybody's heard about the Alex Smith trade, but technically that has not happened. So that's kind of like supposedly off board right now. What is Steve Keim allowed to be doing right now to recruit, investigate? Can he talk to people? What are the rules surrounding the future quarterback position for Steve Keim?
Well, we can't talk to anybody else who's under contract. In fact, we can't even talk to our own players who are under contract.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the whole idea of us talking football, this is all part of this collective bargaining agreement that we've been under for a while. So the players can come in and work out, and we can say, how's your off-season going, but we can't talk X's and O's.
Okay.
We can't talk about a lot of things. So it's got to be very light, casual, short conversations that we have with our players right now. We can't have any conversations with other team players. So we're right now in sort of a quiet period, and then there's the free agency period that is actually preceded by what we call the legal tampering period. And so that starts March 12th and will go through March 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern, which will be 2 o'clock here in Arizona, which is the time when free agency starts.
And that includes agents, too. Like, you can't talk to an agent until March 12th, too?
Until March 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, but, tampering, there are some people out there having conversations, I'm sure. It always seems like,
the
show up when
is fast and varied.
Yeah, there's lots of things. Who knows what's going on out there. But I would say what we can do, and I can tell you what we can do, is we can get ready for free agency. And we actually start free agent meetings this morning. So the coaching staff and all of our scouts are together right now at the training facility for the next 3 days, and they are lining up all of the free agents, and including lining them up against our own roster.
Okay.
So there may be players that we think are going to be available that may be better than potentially players on our roster, and we may decide we're going to go pursue them. So what we try to do is really evaluate the whole roster, let this new staff, and when I say it's all business, these guys have been hard at work. So they're going to do that for the next 3 days, and then they'll start shifting over to the scouts will shift over more towards the college scout and getting ready for the draft. That's the other thing we can do is we can be evaluating players that are coming out in college. So there are a lot of things that we can do up until March 12th. Obviously, the Indianapolis Scouting Combine is going to be at the end of this month. We're going to send, our traveling group up there, I'm not sure all the fans know it, but we send about 55 to 60 people every year, just the Cardinals, and all the teams send about that many people. So that'll probably be its own episode on this Facebook Watch flight plan program that we're putting together, because the Scouting Combine is really an interesting an interesting several days, and you get to learn all about all these players. And then, the draft happens, and after that it's college free agency, and it all happens pretty quickly. But so for now, all we can do is get ready for free agency, and then when the legal tampering period starts March 12th, so about a month from now, we'll be able to hit it hard.
And since you can't talk to players, I'm assuming you can't talk about them right now? Would that be like if I say, how much is Kirk Cousins worth? I'm assuming I can talk about him, but you can't because he's still under contract?
Yeah, we're not supposed to be talking about players on other teams at all.
Okay.
And so, and we're not supposed to be talking to their agents about this as well. So there are a lot of things that we don't want to get fined or, penalized with loss of draft choices or things like that. There are a lot of heavy things that can happen if teams are caught doing that.
So, Michael, we all know how important, of course, a franchise quarterback is to a National Football League team. We all know how important that is. Are you anxious about this at all? Is there anxiety out there knowing that you don't have that guy yet? Do you have quarterback meetings on a weekly basis?
Well, you can bet that we're going to be evaluating the quarterbacks that we think might be available either in free agency or via trade. I just dial it back to 5 years ago, 2013. We were in a very similar situation, except we didn't have an experienced GM. We were hiring a first-time GM, first-time head coach, and we had no quarterback. So today, we've got the GM in place. I really like our head coach and everything that I've seen from him so far. And, the quarterback thing will come. So I don't want this to sound like we're being cavalier about it. We've got to wait for free agency to start to see who's out there. I know we're going to be aggressive. We're going to have a plan. We're going to look at what's the best decision for the team. We're going to look at the draft. We're going to look at all the different available options out there when the time comes to where we can take action.
This is probably an unfair question because we want something new, but As many times as you've been asked, Michael Bidwill, president of the Cardinals, about why you hired Steve Wilkes, is there a story that you haven't told yet about Steve Wilkes that would be fresh to somebody? Because obviously he's still getting to know the community, got a standing ovation at the Suns game that the fans were thrilled to see him there. And I was like, wow, he hasn't done anything yet, and he's already attracted himself to the community. So what was it about Steve Wilkes, and tell us a story about him?
Well, there were many things about him, and it was his reputation. It was the recommendations that we got from players, former players, current players, other coaches, owners. It was the interview, and then it was just a feeling. He really felt like he fit in, and to me, the number one thing, and I said this when we talked about this the day after the season ended and Coach Arians announced his retirement, I was looking, number one, for a leader, because that's the most important things. When we need planning, when we need execution, when things aren't going well, you need leadership. And so I wanted to get a strong leader. That's what came through. And as I've said a few times, each successive time that I've had interaction with him, I like him more and more. I mean, he's really an impressive person, and I think our fans have seen that in his, in the press conference and some of the other information that's come out about Coach Wilkes. They're going to like him a lot as they get to know him better.
Mm-hmm. Michael, in your opinion, how important was it to get an experienced coordinator like Mike McCoy on that staff, knowing that Steve Wilkes was a first-year head coach?
Well, I think it was not just an experienced coordinator, but a former head coach would really be an advantage to any first-time head coach, because, in many ways, any new head coach, as I've said to Coach Wilkes, you're going to feel like you're drinking water from a fire hydrant, as soon as you get this job. And there are just a lot of things. And he's going to want somebody who's kind of a peer to bounce things off of when things come up. Questions that he may not want to ask Steve or may not want to ask me, but he just may want to ask another coach. And so he'll get the benefit of Mike McCoy's experience when he seeks it. But he's also got to find his own way, and he's done a terrific job. Again, in the first few weeks he's been there, he's just been extremely efficient, organized, and executed on everything he's needed to do. But I know that Mike Wilkes is there not only to be a guy who is just a great offensive coordinator that will help us take steps forward with offense, but also somebody who's a great sounding board for Coach Wilkes.
Okay, there's community angst here. The Larry Fitzgerald question. What's the latest on Fitz? He said it's going to be about a week or two since the Super Bowl. That should be in 2 days or so. What's the latest on Larry Fitzgerald?
Well, as I've said, everybody needs to relax. Let him do his thing. He's gone to the Super Bowl. He had a great weekend of golf, as we all know, in Pebble Beach. So, I'd just say give him some time, and he'll make his decision. He'll let us all know. But Larry's Larry, and Larry's going to do it his way, which I love. And if he's coming back, we know that he's doing it at 120% and going to be really committed to Coach Wilkes, to Coach McCoy, and the rest of his team.
Do you sit around, Michael, and get myopic on the things? Now, let's see. If Larry won the Pro-Am, does that make him more likely or less likely to come back? I mean, do you actually consider this stuff? Do you get myopic like we all do?
No.
And he didn't need to elaborate on that.
Yeah, did not. Absolutely not right there. Yeah.
Relax. Everybody relax.
I feel better you saying that. Michael Bidwill, president, Arizona Cardinals, joining us for Newsmakers Week. Last questions for you. What do you want the Cardinals fans to know about the 2018 season or going forward in the future of the Cardinals?
Well, I want them to know that we're committed to putting a championship team on the field, and that Coach Wilkes, Steve Keim, and I have a plan, and we're going to execute that plan, and we're going to do everything we can do. We're going to be very aggressive about getting this team back on its winning ways and making sure that we're not just winning, but bringing championships back to this community. And again, foot is going to be on the gas, and it's not just with the team, but that stadium environment and everything else. We're going to continue to make it a very exciting thing, because we appreciate our fans so much. I want to thank the Red Sea and all of the Bird Gang out there that is so supportive of us. This will be our 13th season, as I said, and we have sold out all 12 seasons prior. We've had tremendous success. We lead the league since we opened that stadium in false starts by the opposing offense. And that's 100% our fans. We've got the best fans in the National Football League, and I want to make sure we win for them and we bring championship back here for them soon.
Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, guys.
Hey, and best of luck to you, Wolf, on how you'll look on Facebook.
Yeah, the no face. in the book, if you know what I mean.
98.7 FM, Arizona's sports station.